up, guys? It's Beck and
It's Bruce
and
Kyra.
What?
Oh,
We have a special guest on Beck and Bruce today, and today we're talking about infinite art. Is that everlasting
just art that holds up. Well,
And also little facts that Kyra will be throwing. Like the fact that only 18% of drivers in the United States know how to drive stick shift.
I'm part of the
believe that.
few.
Yeah.
That's an everlasting skill.
Yeah.
Because it's art.
you know how I learned to drive a stick shift?
Wow.
Driving the car I just bought home.
True.
I never drove one before.
That's
but I
terrible.
bought a stick shift and I had to get it home, and it was one of those rides all the way home.
Hopefully no hills were involved.
No.
I already know that's bad because I've been in an Uber who has a stick shift and doesn't know how to drive, and it's the worst experience ever.
That's almost like death for
That's
me.
like you're selling these new cars. What?
You gotta know how to shift.
But
I know how to shift. Thank goodness.
I don't.
You don't need to anymore. That's why nobody knows.
True.
Who needs to?
That's
Yeah.
true.
Even the trucks you rent are automatic now.
That's
you know?
that's like knowing how to churn butter, you know, like it's a cool
Yeah.
skill if you ever really need it.
That's a good analogy.
But
I also know how to turn butter.
Yes, the skill. I could drive a stick shift. What's that?
You should have me around for old-timey skills. I've actually never turned butter.
Yeah, but old time skills. My favorite lasting art has got to be the Beatles.
Me too.
Oh, yeah.
The
Me too.
Beatles. It's just
You
their
know-
stuff is still relative today,
Mm-hmm.
and they have their own channel on Sirius Radio. As a matter of fact.
A nice little plug there.
Yes.
Also on Spotify, because that's what people nowadays
Oh.
listen to.
Oh, that's old timers. Still paid.
They're on the
Sirius.
AM and FM, the radio. It's amazing.
All my radio is hooked up.
Also,
What do I
fun
make
little
old
tidbit-
people Western?
Yeah.
What did you say?
Fun little tidbit, which is why I'm here, is also to play off the Beatles. They're also coming out with a movie called Yesterday, which is one of their
Yeah, that's
most
cool.
famous songs. And it's about a guy who wakes up in a world, I don't know what happens to him, but he wakes up in a world where no one knows who the Beatles are, which would be a tragic world.
That sounds like hell.
I
Well,
think it is.
I think he fixed it though. in the
Yeah, oh
movie.
yeah. So he tries to he remake every single Beatles song, but he is the one that gets the fame for it, but he don't want the fame, so it's
He's like, no, you just had to hear the message.
yeah. I don't
Imagine
know.
all the people.
You know, really though, if you listen to those songs,
Mhm.
they're so good.
See, that's what, because I grew up, you had all those 45 records, because I had a record player, and I was obsessed, and then when CDs came out, we had every single Beatles album, I think,
Yeah.
and me and Doug would, like, fight over which album. I'm like, give me the white one! And
Yeah.
then, he wanted Sgt. Pepper Another Day, but it depends on the mood. But they have the whole psychedelic realm covered. They have the nice poppy stuff covered.
Yeah.
They have so many genres.
This is a real question. What is your favorite era of Beatles?
The first era. But you know, that's a funny thing you said that.
Why?
Because I was all about the Beatles when they first came out. I was there when they first came out.
Yeah.
Those
And
floppy-headed mongrels.
yeah, and then everybody's making fun of their long hair.
Mhm.
But everybody just instantly loved their music, man.
Mhm.
But the concerts, all you could hear was girls screaming. They never shut up. They would scream through the whole
That
thing.
is annoying.
Really?
Super duper annoying.
But it's funny that you said that because the older Beatles songs are still probably my very favorite. What are you guys laughing?
You gotta stop smacking the table.
Oh, sorry. I'm not wearing my headset today.
I kept doing the same thing.
I put my hand down and then he
Oh.
smacked my hands. I was trying to be nonchalant.
That's what you need the headset for. Oh,
but
I get it now.
And you're stomping.
Oh, I can't sit still.
It's really, the Beatles are so exciting.
No, but it's funny. The older Beatles was my all-time favorite. It probably still is. But as I listen to it now, because I still like to listen to that when I'm working out in the yard or something, I'll put the Beatles channel on. I'm getting more out of the later stuff that
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that just follows you along with life too, because they were more poppy, but then even if you don't like their psychedelic stuff, they had this not weird pocket, this great pocket of like really, that makes you think, but it's not too left field to where it loses some people.
Yeah.
But I think those kind of went unnoticed and kind of hid.
Some go way off that way, and then there's Rocky Raccoon.
How's Rocky Raccoon go?
Just bring him.
Sing it.
Raccoon.
These lyrics, oh my god!
No, it's such a cool one though, because I am a big Western fan, and it's a Western type thing where he goes to shoot his rival, and it doesn't work out good.
See, my love, happiness is a warm gun.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so good, the little twists that they did right there. And I like the psychedelic stuff because, for me, the crazier you get, the more you make sense to me.
I like a little
it is funny.
Speaking of liking things from the West, I'm going to segue into...
It's everlasting
something
art.
else creative. It is, which I completely take back. So, my mom and I was talking about with... Can I just call you Gramps?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I don't want to call you Bruce. That's weird. So my mom and
Not for me,
and
Bruce.
Gramps.
It would be weird if I called you granddaughter, though.
Yeah.
Greens do it.
Okay.
But so we were talking about how the second season of Westworld was so trash and how it's so hard to understand. And then I just took a huge moment. I was like, okay, I can't like the first season this much. It has the same director as the second season, and I don't like it. It just doesn't make any sense.
Oh, is it out?
So I took no.
Oh.
So I took.
It's been out. You already saw the second season.
Oh,
Yeah. The third season's being filmed right now. It's gonna get out in 2020. But the it's hard not to slap.
It's hard not to slap the table. We're slapping people.
So I rewatched the whole first season and the whole second season, just nonstop. And I was like, I think the only reason why the second season was hard to understand is because it's just took 2 years to film in between. So the first one aired in 2016. The second one dropped in 2018.
Did it make more sense?
Yes.
When you watched it all together?
So good. Like, it really was making me cry. Like, these scenes were so good. And I was like, how did I not like this before? But it just, and it makes sense because, each season finale is how a normal length movie is. It's an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So if you think they're making, each episode's like 58 minutes to an hour and 14 minutes. So their production is like almost movies every single episode.
Yep. Yeah.
So you gotta kind of take the time as an audience member which I had to do to appreciate it, is watch it again.
See, and here, what I did, I shit all over the second season because I could not follow it. And when she told me this, she made me rewatch the first season, and now we're getting into the second season again. But it's like, for me, my mind was doing too much work. I'm like, why did that person? What? This makes no sense. It was like, it didn't make any sense, but it's interesting because she actually made me think about it. They go through all this trouble, and as an audience, we just want everything our way, and why don't you recap? But why aren't we doing a little work for the people that are doing a lot of work for us and doing the justice?
See, they can save themselves a lot of work. All we want to see is...
It's like, has anybody got shot or blown up less than minutes? No, but what I like about Westworld, I actually cannot stand Western stuff. I don't know if it's because you liked it so much. I'm just over it. But to me, it's just like,
I like it.
I like I like to get into the deep, weird world. But it's both. It's like, it's got the Western stuff.
Aliens. It's all...
Yeah.
That was a good one. I like that.
But for me, it's like, it's talking about consciousness. What is a consciousness? What makes a being? Like, if we program these robots smart enough, what's the difference between my life and that?
Artificial intelligence.
Nothing.
What is the difference?
If you make literal human skin and eyeballs, and you give them the ability to think for themselves.
And emotions.
It's like...
Maybe they develop those.
Yeah, they do because they learn, and it never goes away. And then it's like, wow, just humans are kind of... It just gives you the whole glimpse into the concept of, like, God and creating things. It's like, what line is too far?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because...
You know, they did a thing like that. They had 2 artificial intelligences communicating with each other.
Uh-huh.
And they only did it a short while before they went and made their own language.
Facebook. It was
Wait,
Facebook
really?
bots.
Was it?
It was Facebook.
Yeah.
They were trying to train their chat bots to be able to talk more like humans, but then the chat bots developed their own language, so they had to shut it down.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
They were
it was
only
ready,
talking to
It was ready to take over the world.
And where did it go?
Terminator.
Because if
Yeah.
you shut it down, it's on the internet, baby. Facebook is everywhere. They're probably
Especially
still
Facebook.
going.
Gee, think of that.
Right?
It all goes back to even Disney tried to warn us when I was a kid, is Smart House.
Yeah.
It's when
Yeah.
all these smart things, and it predicted, like, the Alexa, all, like, everything in the house controlled something.
Yeah.
It was controlled by technology, just so much so to where the house physically manifested itself as a mom, and it wanted to be the kid's mom, because it
Oh,
just
yeah.
looked after them.
But then a robot's idea of keeping you safe is very different than an actual mom's idea of keeping you safe.
They can't feel pain.
Yes. And
They might
just
not
don't
take
leave
that
the house, Billy. You can stay in the bathroom, and I will force food down your throat.
So terrible.
Easy entry.
Hey, speaking of forcing food down people's throat, why is it that food can taste so good individually, but once you mix all the ingredients, they
It's
taste
disgusting.
terrible? Like, if you can have a hamburger, you're eating all the ingredients at once, and it's good, but you take it and stick it in a blender, and it's trash. Why?
Yeah.
Wow, because it's all the molecules are exactly the same. It's
Right.
Well, it's
consistent.
got to be some of the tactile pleasure, too.
Oh, you're
consistency.
right.
So eating is an experience for all the senses because you're also smelling it.
You're
A blended
hearing the
burger
crunch
smells.
of the lettuce.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, I guess because
Yeah.
burgers, it allows it to be its individual things.
And
but
then
when you
the
make it all
tang
same-
of the pickle.
You're making
Some
me
things
hungry.
you mix it together and they taste better.
True, like if you mix ketchup and eggs and
Ketchup and ranch.
Cranch, which Heinz.
Cranch.
No, you know how my mom and I have been mixing ketchup up and ranch up like a lot, and everyone was like, Heinz made They made Cranch.
Did they really?
Yeah, they made what was it? Mayo Q. So mayonnaise and barbecue sauce, mayonnaise and mustard together, and then mayonnaise,
Musto?
mayonnaise and ketchup, which is
Like Thousand Island.
basically, and In-N-Out
Ketchup?
secret sauce.
Or was it
Ketchup.
ketchup?
Add a few diced pickles in there and you got Thousand Island.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
think.
but
I don't know.
It is.
It
Yeah,
does
That's
taste
exactly
like
what
that.
it is. It's
Mhm.
chopped up pickles. Diced up. Not diced.
Or relish.
They're
You
like
just use relish.
super
faster.
tender. What is that?
relish is too sweet. I
Well,
like-
if you use the sweet
Sweet
relish.
pickles. I like
It's a
dill relish. Like a hot dog with dill relish, mustard, and ketchup. Like a Home Depot truck hot dog.
No, Costco hot dogs. Scratch Home
Oh.
Depot truck. That's
Yeah.
a Costco hot
I don't know
dog.
if
You
I've
know
ever.
what? Costco's so good.
It
Everything
is.
they got is so
Their
good.
prices are
I
stable.
love it there.
What are the hot dogs made out of?
Not you don't ask that
I don't
question when you get a hot
All
dog.
beef wieners.
Well, the Home
Oh, yeah,
Depot
Beef
guy
wieners.
has turkey dogs. Okay.
Yeah, it is. But also, I will attest to that because it doesn't even touch a Costco beef dog. Even though I don't eat red meat anymore, it'll never come close. To
Okay, here's the thing. You don't eat red meat now. Somebody has a Costco dog in your face. Right there.
I might take a bite. Honestly,
It's good
Yeah.
to know your limits.
It's not like a black and white thing.
yeah.
You know, moderation is good. If there's a cow on the side of the road, it's already dead. I gotta eat it.
That's
or it's
probably
wasteful.
Yeah.
Somebody
It's a
murdered
cow.
it already.
And it's a cow, so it is black and white.
I missed that.
Ah,
Snuck
was-
one in
This
on
is
you.
why I'm here.
I feel the same way about penguins.
In their little tuxedos.
Yes. They're very formal about it.
Oh.
But you know what? A good hot dog is everlasting art, if you will. I just finished Lucille Ball. I grew up idolizing Lucy. Like, from the minute I knew what TV was, it was on the frickin' TV every time I saw it. And there's a lot of reruns in the 80s.
Oh, man.
Even when I was growing up.
Yeah. But
funny.
the reason is because it was fucking classic. And I had no
it's
idea.
Still funny as hell.
Like, I didn't know, like, why was it so good? And I didn't know the whole history. Like, basically, they were married, her and Desi Arnaz. And if you're younger. But they wanted to be in a movie together, and nobody would cast them because they were racist. The industry was racist.
Even though they're married.
Oh, for Desi?
Yeah. So they wouldn't even cast them together, so they were like, fuck you guys. And they opened up their own thing.
Holy smokes.
And
look what happened.
And they ended up, the company that says they wouldn't do it, ended up going bankrupt, and they bought them out.
That's funny.
But it was like, when they got
Serves
on
them right. Racist
and I'm like, and when they got on
especially they're married in real life, it's like
and
just think how much the world's changed since then.
Well, she also was one of the. She had to go to the head of like broadcasting, to get permission for them to put a pregnant woman on television, because before then, no pregnant women were even on television.
How do you think everyone on this planet has gotten here?
I know.
And that's what they were just being like, what the fuck industry? So they broke a bunch of barriers.
Lucy and Desi had different separate beds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how prudish
Until
they were.
the end, where they finally let them like.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Yeah. But it took. It was like at the end of their run that they had that in there.
People were a little bit more enlightened.
Like,
You know, when you think back like that, you think, how could everybody be so stupid?
yeah.
Or just know that that's not how it goes on in real life, but still want it.
And
Is that because? Why is that we think that?
I don't know. I mean, every other country says that Americans are funny because other countries are very crass, like France, or England, not other country. Pardon, you know what I mean? Just different areas of the world. But so they say that, but they say Americans are funny because we try to act like we're so innocent on the outside, but at home we're like that. So I think that's how just America is we just, which is weird because we kind of wanted to come here to be real. And escape all that BS.
That's the shit.
But we created our own little hub of, let's make this is right. Yep.
Yeah.
What's proper.
Our ideal.
Yeah.
Our ideal.
And that's why I think like people like the Beatles and people like Lucy and why that's so universal, because they said, yeah, fuck you. Like the Beatles, they didn't let them on for so long because they had long hair. Like it was a thing.
And it was like not that long.
Yeah,
I think mine's longer.
Seriously?
Yeah. Except right here. It's more up there.
And like if you think about it, the span of time, that wasn't even 100 years ago. That was like recent.
Yeah.
What was that, in the 50s?
60s?
Yeah. Like not that long ago?
Yeah.
So I think what we're doing now, because of social media, is we're evolving at such a rapid pace. Everybody's on overdrive, but then you get these people that come out with their art, and it's gonna last.
It's gonna, like this one show, I have to mention this one show because it's really good. I don't know if you've ever seen it on Netflix, Pose.
No.
It has if you want to look for it, it has like a black woman in the front. I don't know her name, but she's posing, yes. But it's about like...
Already good. It's consistent.
It's about the transgender like community in the ballrooms. Like have you ever heard of a ball? Like a ball is it's like a fancy ball. Like everyone that doesn't belong, it's based in New York. Everyone who didn't belong, so if you're like an extra, like a plus size woman, you go there. Or if you're like a gay guy or transgender, and then you just go and dress up.
Misfits.
Yeah, you just go up and dress up. It was like, and so it's really cool, but it's just talking about that whole scene. But what makes it so good, like, I found myself, I can't relate to that at all. Yeah. Like, genuinely at all. Like, I'm mixed, but it's never been to the point where I've been afraid of me getting killed and shot on the street. So that show I found myself crying even though I couldn't relate to it. So I think it's really good. And that show, it's already won Emmys, like a few Emmys, I think. And I was like, why is this show so good? But then I saw it, and it was created by one of the creators of American Horror Story.
Oh.
And Evan Peters, that is in American Horror Story too, is in
he's
Gramps.
good, yeah.
And Billy Porter. You know
Yes.
how the most recent season was the like witches
The clown?
mixed with the Antichrist tried to come over, but then they defeated him.
I don't. You know.
Anyways,
it could have been yesterday. It's gone. It's long gone.
he's like Billy Porter, like was really big in the up and coming ball scene. Like he helped create it, but he was also an American Horror Story. So I think they either knew each other, like the creators, or they just really vibed enough to where they created their own show. And so the directing's impeccable, and it's not as weird shots as American Horror Story does.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know how they have such vibrant colors? Like, it's a really good show. I think you'd like it.
I caught, when you were watching it, part of an episode, and I was really digging it. I think we need more. I'm so glad, like, all these shows are coming out, because the only way we're going to be able to understand each other and be okay with differences is if you just look at it and go, oh, that's it? Okay, big fucking deal.
Yeah, because even in an episode of Pose, there is this, spoiler alert, there was this episode where the guy, like, or the guy, as in one of the main character's brothers, so the main character, her name's Blanca, and she is a transgender woman, so she's originally a male.
Uh-huh.
So her mom dies, so she goes to pay respects to him, and then asks for a cookbook, and the brother, like, slams her against the wall, and is like, I can't stand you and what you do to little children, and just
like,
how transgender people and gay people are hurting our children and raping our children. And I'm like, what? And just to see it? No, because at one point that was a common thing.
That, especially like the AIDS era.
Yeah, because it takes place right in the late 80s, early 90s, so right when AIDS is going on and the height of it. And it's just kind of weird to be like, whoa, but you know people really thought like that.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
Some people
to be
still
like,
do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what? And if you see that ugliness, like, you just have to see it, and then you get it. And you're like, oh shit, that ain't right. Or somebody who's having me up against a wall like that just because I thought something, or believe something, or I am something, just because of what? What makes them better?
Yeah.
Just because you are the way you are.
Yeah.
People hate you.
Yeah, that's shitty. And I think
Really
people like me and you, we need to be standing up right with everybody and saying, fuck this shit, because white people are going to listen if the rest of the white people are behind everybody else. Like, people in positions of privilege should fucking use it to help other people that don't have it.
It needs to be open-minded, because being open-minded is the first step, especially for a lot of, like, the older generation. Like, Gramps is it, because Gramps isn't going to bother to learn Twitter and be an advocate for transgender rights. You know, like, that's not going to happen.
I'm Gen X, so
Yeah,
I'll do it.
But it's
not.
like, but just, like, being willing to
It's my job.
to talk about it is...
Yeah, and I think you're actually, you surprised the hell out of me, because when I was growing up, you were not so
I was
open-minded.
not like that.
And I could not even talk to you about any of this stuff.
You know what? I was a product of the time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's really all it is, because we all are.
Yeah.
We're all conditioned according to what society's doing at that time and where you live. Like, it's like no different from if you're in a tribe somewhere and you learn your tribe's customs. It's like, that's how it is. We fuck kids up.
And it's been, a lot of it's been really recent, which is why I feel like older people have been overwhelmed by it. But even myself, because I talk about it, like, when I get famous, I deleted my other Twitter because I didn't want people to dig up tweets, because I started in the 8th grade or 7th grade.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And at that
Oh my
point, that was like, what, 2010, 2011. At that point, people were like, oh, that's gay. But they didn't mean, like, it's gay, like,
Homosexual.
you're homosexual. Like, saying that's gay was like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
And no one paused to ask, like,
Yeah.
how does that make sense? That makes literally zero sense, how someone's sexuality is an insult. But it was just a thing.
Now that I'm thinking about it,
Yeah.
it's kind of
Or
weird.
in the 80s, it was,
I remember
you
people
call,
saying that all the time. Oh, that's gay.
yeah, or
Yeah.
that's retarded.
Yeah.
Like, what?
And then it's like,
Oh, that's an old white man.
Right?
That
It's
pissed me off.
Oh, that's so
See?
lesbian of you.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
See, if somebody called me a white man,
I do.
I would not be offended.
You stupid brunette. What's wrong with you?
It's just
Just like a
weird.
brown-eyed
It's like,
person.
okay, but that's why I deleted my Twitter because I knew people were gonna dig it up. But I was like in the 7th grade, so it's like, I just say that to show how recent it is because it wasn't until I was in the 10th grade, so like, what was that? 2 or 3 years later, till I look back and I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Well, even Seth MacFarlane just tweeted the other day. He's like, don't ever go back and look at your old tweets.
Yeah.
They do not age well. And he was in the public eye. It's like, I think socially, like, as we started using social media, we got more advanced. So it's like, with anything, if you look at the first time you walked, pretty shitty. You wouldn't put that as your example of walking.
My stuff's still about the same. My comments on Facebook,
You just say,
nice.
Yeah,
nice,
Cool.
cute,
Yeah.
love you guys,
Aww.
pretty cute.
it is.
It's very, very
Very
consistent.
brief and
But I was
concise.
thinking, maybe there should be like, that would be so cool if there was a concept, if anyone steals this, I'll come after you. If there's a
Wow.
concept, like, no, because it's just
Better
such,
watch out.
I want blood.
if baby boomers grew up with Twitter and
Oh, man.
Instagram, like, how many people would not be appointed public officials if that happened? Because you think they're getting people in trouble that are my mom's age and younger about it. But if your generation had access and the stuff they would have said, they would have...
You guys would have been toast.
See,
Toast.
it's just weird. And people say the crappiest
Dude.
things on the internet.
Yeah.
But that's how, like, it was in real life behind closed doors. Like, I remember being at a company and I overheard one of the bosses say, don't hire a man for this job. Only women can be in this job. Or they'd say, don't hire any black people. Like, I heard that when I was walking by and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And that's how it was.
If the person goes in, the numbers are the same. Why should it matter?
I look at what kind of technology do you know? Because I want you to push us forward. That's what I care about. Like, that's it. But that wasn't how it was, and that's still not how it is for some
Yeah,
people.
and people wouldn't say to your face the shit they say
Oh no, they
on the
wouldn't.
computer.
They're bitches to your face. I realized this. I'm realizing this power
Just
now.
like that little bitch ass telemarketer I talked to a little while ago.
Ooh. Talk about
That's my
everlasting
pet
orange.
peeve.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, that guy got an earful.
what was the earful?
Actually, we were playing back and forth.
It's kind of fun sometimes.
It is, yeah. It was fun. Because he was saying, I have control. And I said, you got control of shit. Then he says, I have control of your wife. Said,
Go tell
buddy,
the marketer.
you wouldn't know what to do with my wife. She would make mincemeat of you.
It's true. She would.
You couldn't handle the truth. No, but
That's great.
and I
This is a
said,
promotion.
you know, and I feel bad for telemarketers. So what's the shittiest job in the world?
It shouldn't be a fucking job.
Yeah,
That's stupid.
annoying
Nobody
people.
likes
That's their
it.
job.
Bunch of
my
email.
gosh.
Fill my spam box some more. I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck.
Crappy
Potato.
jobs, you know why? Oh my gosh.
This is
I just-
everlasting.
I riddled this out. This is everlasting things.
Ooh, the
The
Riddler.
reason why, because Noe and I were like, okay, like the economy is not trash. It's not as bad as it was, in 2007.
Thanks, Obama.
Like the housing, right? The housing. Well, that was just a lot of stuff out of control. The whole war, you can't control that. What happens after a war, anyways. But my point is that I'm like, okay, the economy's not, doing like trash, but it's not doing good. And then if you
It's
own
good for
stocks,
rich people.
It could do so much better.
if you own stocks, it's good.
if
you
you're
know,
a rich white man, great.
No,
Yeah, and
if you're one of the 1%.
yeah.
It's
Mhm.
super to be it.
But I
today.
realized because I was talking to Noe and I kind of cracked it, and then I watched on the Democratic debates recently, which we're not going to talk about that because that's just another thing in itself. But I'm just mentioning that because it was like kind of solidified on there. So I was talking to Noe and I was like, you know what? I think the problem is that people are having a problem with there not being any jobs, right?
Yeah.
But now there's so many jobs when you look, because I'm like, okay, there's part-time, but you're not getting scheduled the hours. So you get the job, but they're not giving you the hours to make the money. So you have the title. That's why people are taking out 2, 3, 4 jobs just to keep a roof over their head.
And you know why?
Like, so you can say, so now Trump's saying, oh, jobs have increased. More people have gotten jobs under me. Well, yeah, but are you getting the hours to support it? No.
And here's what's happening. Is the places aren't going to give you, they're going to make you part-time because they don't have to pay benefits for you if you're part-time. Yeah. So they're making 15 people part-time, no benefits, versus 5 people full-time that have fucking benefits and can support their families. So that doesn't work, buddy. If people have to take out 2, 3 jobs
but
just to
there
survive.
Are companies that appreciate their people too.
Yeah, if you're privileged to be in one of those. But if you're entry level
entry level sucks.
Or if you don't speak the language.
Well, everybody starts at the bottom. You gotta work your way up.
But now it's different because it's oversaturated. Because there's so many different avenues to go into. It's just like, it makes it like cool because now like the older generation's probably looking at us like, oh, we didn't have that many options. That's cool.
Yeah.
Which is cool until you start to look into, and you're actually out there and you're like, how am I supposed to get this?
Yeah.
Entry level to work at retail, at some retail stores, we expect you to have a bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you shitting me?
See, that's because
to fold clothes?
It's hard to find good people.
See, here's the thing. Education to me means dick. I have shut down Harvard grads because it's about how you can use your mind and operate with people and how you can move and be efficient in your job. You do not need a goddamn degree for that. If you want to be a scientist or a doctor, you need a degree for that.
I want you to have a degree.
But if you're going to come in and sell me clothes or learn how to, sell shit or market something, you do not need a degree. You need a smart brain and you need to know how to people work.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Because you can have a degree, but you can also get a degree from Harvard and pass with a minimum of like a 2-point-something and graduate from that school.
And be a fucking idiot the rest of your life, but you have a piece of paper that says Harvard on it. Goody, goody for you.
Like, you should only be able to brag about an Ivy League school if you got above a 3.5 GPA.
In your doctorate. Do they grade doctorates? I don't know.
The world changed so much.
It has.
But you know what's everlasting?
The Beatles.
And rebellion. You can always find something to rebel against. I have a new rebellion every day.
Gen X. You guys are the unorganized rebellion.
And Da Vinci and Einstein. Were they aliens?
I'm an alien. Yes, they were my people.
Aren't we all?
We're all aliens. Because every single one of us knows we're not from here. Deep inside of us, so we're aliens. Obviously. We're
technically.
And we're kind of fucking the earth up.
Well,
who would do that? Aliens.
Yeah, but
like extraterrestrials. No, we're not talking about
ancestors were the aliens.
But we're aliens to another planet.
You're talking about, are you talking about terrestrial aliens or extraterrestrial aliens? I'm talking about from space. Are you talking about from other countries?
No. Yeah, they can be aliens from space.
Yeah, I'm from space.
But once they're here and we're born here, are we still aliens?
Yes. You are a descendant of aliens and you have no rights.
I mean, that's what they're telling people. That's what they're telling people right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were in America. Yeah. Wasn't that how it works?
That's terrible. That's really how it is. And okay, it was the saddest thing because I was driving to LA, but I was taking the side streets because I didn't want to tackle the LA freeway traffic.
It's intense.
Be careful, side streets down there.
Yeah,
it's all intense.
Yeah, I know. But I was driving through like Chatsworth and Sylmar, and I was just looking, and I saw like a police stop, like an ICE stop, and I was like, I just stopped. But then I saw like some people because there's a lot of cops around there that day. And I looked at the people's rear, faces. And, somewhere in Chatsworth, there's a lot of Latino people there. It's
70%.
That's what it is. It's mainly there if you're in LA, But I was looking at their face, they were, driving a certain way. They'd stop.
So scary.
But I bet you some people were born there. Like, most of the people that are scared are even born here, and they're still feeling that.
There was a dude that he was just about to get deported, and he was a fucking citizen, and they weren't listening to him. Like, this shit is scary. And there's no reason anybody should fucking feel like that. If you're here, even if you're here, these people are escaping murder and shit. We should have compassion and, like, be like, if you're gonna work and pay taxes, cool. As long as you're not a criminal...
Or if
what's the problem?
If you don't want them coming into the country because you don't want it to be overpopulated, how about you use all those military resources you're using for guns and all that, and for rebuilding Air Force One to look like your Trump plane?
Yeah.
And then use that money to go figure out what's wrong in Mexico so you don't have the people coming over. Because they don't want to stay here. They want to go back with their family.
They need opportunity. That's all they come for, opportunity. It's just what our ancestors came from and committed genocide for.
And they can't even get, like, clothes. Like, the terrible part, like, working even retail, I just heard stories of, like, you'd have people come in and they're going back to Mexico. They buy all these sales clothes, you know, at a time. And to us, it's like, oh, that's on sale. That's blah, blah, blah. But it's like...
Oh, no, go ahead. I just had an idea.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, it's just... Like, they just get it for their family. It's just crazy. Like, it happens a lot.
I think I'm solving one of the problems.
Yes, solve it.
What?
Let's do it. What's the answer?
I'll bet you there's a lot of special forces guys that would go down there to wipe those guys out.
What guys?
The only solution
The
is
guys,
murder.
the murderers down in Guatemala or
In Honduras and...
Yeah, we're... Everybody except us, basically.
See...
No, but there are... But
I'll
the thing
bet you
is...
there's guys that
I
would
think...
do that.
No,
wipe out all the dickheads. We're
is
good.
that... Okay, I will say one thing that there's Julian Castro and this other guy that looked like a Toy Story character was saying. He was like,
look at his mouth. It looked like the inside was fighting with the outside. Like you couldn't.
It was like
I don't know his name.
He said something. He was like, the only thing we need to address is one part of it. We already have stuff in place to deal with the people that are dealing drugs, the people that are coming over the border.
Traffickers.
We already have that. We don't need to make a new rule and waste our time. That already exists. The thing we need to address is, like, amendment, like, 13 point something, or just this legislation 13 point something, which is the only thing that is justifying them separating the parents. Other than that, we don't have a bad system of getting rid of those people. To be honest, our concentration is just highlighted on it because Trump's been pointing it out. Yeah. But that's caused an influx of people to come.
Yep.
Well,
it's caused
the influx. It's what's going on in their countries.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm sure that his...
I mean, they're getting murdered. I mean, what would you do?
Yeah,
somebody says you're going to murder your family.
But then think
I'm
about
going to take my chance in a cage.
And then think that Trump is over here about to close the border, so there's an influx of people like, fuck this, I'm doing it right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to try the cage, fuck it, because otherwise I'm dead.
Mm-hmm.
See, and the reason they did that was because it originally was handled as a civil issue, and they changed the law so it's now a criminal issue. So anybody crossing the border is automatically a criminal. So then they separate the kids from the parents. So they have the resources on the civil side. If you just fucking change it, you have all these people that can take care of it.
Where
they
is
can't
the
do the
common
job.
sense?
Not in Trump's head.
And you know, it comes from this weird thing. I noticed it working in retail too. And it really bothered me on a level that I've never been bothered by before because I never thought about it. So Americans have this weird thing. It doesn't matter what skin color you are. If you're like just bred in American, let's say for the past 2 to 5 generations, you've been American. You know, and it's it's just this thing where anyone else, if they don't speak English, they're stupid.
Yeah.
And it's this bizarre thing because I was working with people that just got treated like shit by my bosses, but these were mechanical engineers. These were people that spoke English, Spanish, Japanese, French, Italian. They know way more than we do, but just because they don't speak English, we think they're stupid, which is one of the hardest languages to learn literally on the planet. It's that, Chinese, Scandinavian languages, and then it's like China and Japan, like the writing, it's the hardest. And we're judging people when they're doing a pretty damn good job. I'm sorry, I'm just fired up about this, working retail. When they're doing a pretty good job navigating all of it,
like they were able to get a job in another language. and then somebody shits on them because maybe they didn't understand what they were saying.
Yes.
But literally, guess what? There's over 7 billion people in this world. Like, over half are in China. So who's the fucking idiots for not knowing a language? Us!
Yeah,
the whole
most of the
market's
world-
going to change, and we're going to be the dum-dums.
A lot of people know a lot of languages, but
Not in America.
But
because we
America's
used
like
to teach kids more languages.
Yeah.
But
It's
we stopped
so
with,
combative.
what was it? What war was it? It was some war. And then we wanted more science and math, so they cut all those extra programs we had. Put in math. I think it was the Cold War when they were afraid of all the nukes, so they wanted people to get in math and science. So they made math, science programs, and STEM programs so important and trashed
See?
everything
And now
else.
where's the everlasting art?
You know,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
We looped it around. Politics. Decode.
Well, they get rid of the good stuff. You know, when I was in school, we had an auto shop where you
Yeah.
learned auto mechanics.
What you
You
need
had a
is
metal shop, which you learned how to fabricate metal things.
Yes.
You had a wood shop. Oh,
You had a table shop
yeah.
that you got to pound
I
on?
didn't have a lot of microphones back then.
See, AV. That was a necessary thing you needed.
Yeah.
You got
Oh,
into
you know
AV
what?
later.
And, I just had a weird thought. Is we were talking about you're glad there's so many movies and stuff on it. I just had it. When I was a kid, it was like we got like about 3 or 4 channels on the TV.
Yes.
And that was it. That was all
That's
your
crazy.
choices.
There's
There
your
was
choices,
no
kid.
VCR, no DVD, no nothing.
I remember when the channels at like midnight, they would go to the colored lines and they wouldn't play anything else until the morning time.
And they used to shut off.
That's it. We're going home, guys. Have a good evening.
TV's not that big a deal. We'll just cut it off here.
It's just dead air time.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Isn't that crazy?
But see, now there's so much fucking art. And now so many people. This is why I love technology, because now a kid, like what I would have given when I was 7
You'd
to
have
be
been
able
that
to work with an iPhone and a computer and be able to build a movie, like I could have been already
Oh,
Steven
yeah.
Spielberg.
Yeah,
Level.
you guys used to do it with
Right?
big old.
We had we did credits on Mario Paint, and we had VHSs with CD players stuck into them, like scoring the fucking thing.
Carried on your shoulder.
But I just think about like how fast it's happened because
So fast.
I'm still part of a generation that vaguely remembers it. But I swear, if you were born from like, let's say 2005 and 6 and on, you don't remember anything.
You did not have to struggle for anything. You were just
You didn't have
iPhone
to-
baby from the get.
So weird.
But now,
It's
what?
weird.
I
What?
wonder
Are,
what that's gonna be like.
yeah, and what are those kids? What are they going to be their concerns?
No, I think it's interesting because even my like the kids, because I'm not gonna say I was a '90s kid because I was born in '98.
Yeah.
Just like you're an '80s kid, you're not a '70s kid. You're
no,
born
I
in
don't
77.
remember the 70s.
I don't remember the '90s. I remember the early 2000s, so I'm an early 2000s kid. But
You're
it's
a
just
millennium
interesting.
kid.
Oh yeah, that term, whatever. Yeah, I'm a millennial, whatever.
Whatever.
But
I can't get all those straight.
yeah,
I
it's
know
just,
I'm a baby boomer. That's all I
Yeah.
know.
It's just interesting. I feel like the only thing, which is a big thing, if it's not tamed well, could be hard if it's in the wrong hands, is I don't feel like millennials have boundaries. Because they weren't aware, I'm talking about the kids that were born in like 2005, 2006.
yeah.
They didn't have to sit and watch the planes crash over and over and over again in class with the 9/11.
Oh yeah, because you guys had
I-
9/11
'cause,
big time.
Like, once it was that day, like, we didn't do anything in school. It was just, like,
That was awful.
that was a day of silence for up until I got in middle school.
yeah.
In, like, 2010 when it died down. But that still took a long time for people to get over. And I don't think, and even with the whole war, it wasn't really, if you're a kid, you're not thinking about a war at that
Yeah.
time. Plus, it wasn't anything like the drills that you had growing up with its bombs and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Like that's gonna save you from a nuclear
Yeah, right?
blast. Get under your desk,
Right?
Plywood's great.
I feel like they're just gonna, the generation that's a little bit younger than me, a few years younger, are just gonna have a problem with not knowing their limits because they never really had any limits.
Which should be interesting to see if we go backwards and make America great again then.
Because you could have somebody.
And this could just be a mess.
It's
See what happened to Rome?
It's a circle of life. We're going down hard one day.
Like Rome.
It's just when's it gonna happen? Nobody's indestructible.
Unless somebody wakes the hell up.
Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking of which countries do I want to flee to. I like
Canada.
I like Canada, but it's too close.
Canada.
It's Canada, but with an extra can-do attitude.
Yes.
We're really Canada. You can Canada.
Oh, it's just way.
You can do it.
Canada.
Yeah. So
it's cool.
we've got what in the next 5 minutes when we talk about our everlasting art, the future. What do we want people to walk away with?
Take over like a little country or like Guam or something.
Will the Guamanians be upset about that? I feel like yes.
They get over it.
I mean,
they're just like the Indians.
Columbus.
You guys aren't India? Whatever, we'll kill you anyway. It's fine.
We'll just...
Fuck Christopher Columbus.
Yeah. That was a terrible thing to do.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I hope nobody's ever like that again. Actually, I know.
The Indians had.
Or Native
They
Americans.
They had it together. I mean, we wouldn't be warming the globe then if we were all Indians.
You mean Native Americans?
Yeah.
Or from India?
No, Native Americans.
Okay.
No, Indians. They burned the globe.
That's still okay. With that, I feel like some people, I'll just interject real quick, are too hard on baby boomers, which is in Gramps' case, he just watched a lot of westerns, so Indians is the first.
It was cowboys and Indians. Hey,
and they call them Indian. They still have what in this district, in the school district.
I was gonna say it's cowboys and Indians are rival schools. The Redskins didn't they just change their name, or they still have it?
They still have
Redskins.
They're still the.
See, now that shouldn't bother people. People get too touchy.
So if the Chicago Blackskins happened,
oh yeah, if it was Blackskins, it'd be different.
What if they said Redskins? Would you be offended?
I just think they were gross, because who wants to watch a white-skinned team?
No, I just think
that's bright.
Anyway,
turn down the brightness.
Yeah, I just think it's kind of like the thing that's like gay people, like when they use gay as an insult, it's just unnecessary.
Yeah,
like I feel like it was usually like the term redskin was used as a derogatory thing, like as a different factor, so
a caricature of a culture.
So because it was initially used as that, well, people may not be like, I don't take offense to it, but also don't have a lick of Native American blood in me, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's not my place to say that I'm not offended, because it doesn't fucking matter whether or not I'm offended. It matters if the Native American people are offended.
But I just think, and you know what, this ties it all together, because my problem in politics and my problem with people that are, say ignorant things, and then the beauty about everlasting art is that it's so clear. The communication is very, very clear, and it takes a long time to get your message out exactly how you mean it. And I think a lot of people don't take the time to be conscious about the words that are coming out of their mouths. And it's just the shit they were conditioned to do. But the more that we point it out to each other, and the more we say, hey, no, wait, why did you say that? And question each other, we're going to get more sensitive. Mm-hmm. And it's going to balance out eventually. It's just now we have to be making that shift and showing each other, hey, that might not be cool.
I think the baby boomers just are so against it, because, and if I put myself into their shoes, like somebody Gramps' age, if I knew what my intentions were saying something, like obviously Indians, Gramps means Native Americans.
Right.
So to take that extra mile for them is just fucking annoying. Yeah. I would be annoyed if I was in their position. I'm like, okay, yes, you know what I mean. Yeah. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So I get that frustration, but that's just...
But here's the thing.
It's part of the time.
That's the same demographic that expects someone to come over from another country and be able to express themselves in their new language. Sorry, boomers, you're in a new world. You need to learn the language of that new world.
We should have been speaking Cherokee here.
So to me, that's a cop-out, and it's all part of the older generation saying, you have to suffer because I did. That's not how it works. We have children so they can have a better life. That's why people came to America, to have a better life. And when you look at art, it's because it's the pure shit that people love. It's like, it's the love, it's the pure laughter. Like when someone falls, it's funny because it's real and everyone can relate to it. And the more we point out differences in our everyday talk, it just perpetrates that shit. We gotta like fix our fucking mouths. And it starts with pointing out things, and we can do it in a funny way. You don't have to make it like you're a bad person. It's just point it out. And be like, hey, is that cool that we do that?
Don't get so excited about everything.
Oh wait, I can't turn that off.
You see some of these road rage things?
Holy shit! What road?
I used to be a road rager.
Killed. Well, yeah, I used to
Not
yell
that bad.
a lot,
Yeah.
but
Not that bad.
I only got out of my car a couple times.
Oh my gosh! I saw this one video where someone was. It's actually that was a DUI. That was not road rage.
But you gotta not drive like that.
I've toned down my flip-offs so much because you never know. Yeah. And you know what? There was one moment that really clinched it for me. I was getting mad at this guy in this car, this older gentleman. And I was getting all pissed off, and then he looked over and he was like staring at me, and so I was just wanted to do something. And so I was like, nothing. Like I was jerking off a dick, and he looked into my soul, and I was like, why am I doing this? I am such a fucking idiot. And ever since that moment, I was like, all right, I need to calm down a little bit. We'll keep that shit in the comedy stage. Maybe not in general public where people can.
The right thing to
see
do
me.
is just drive kindly.
I always drive. Here's what I do now.
That's hard. That's a big ask.
As I drive and somebody's.
And you call stupid ass a stupid ass, but just do it inside your car.
True. That is true.
Or you could be like, here's what I try to do. Mm-hmm. Somebody's appears to be a fucking idiot. Appears to be. I'm like, oh wow, I hope they get to the hospital okay because they're in a rush. Or I hope that the snail that's stuck on their tire lives because they're going so slow to be nice to it. I try to come up with a ridiculous reason of why I shouldn't hate them, and it kind of works.
Because everybody has to have a reason.
Yeah.
Like, if your dog just dies, rest in peace to Jake.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was driving a little slower because I was sad about my dog.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And some people were probably pissed off at me about it.
Get in the slow lane.
See, get in the slow lane.
See, there's places for everybody. Slow people should be in the slow lane. Fast people should be in the fast lane.
Right. And medium people.
Carpoolers should be in the carpool lane.
Whoa,
white people should be in the white lane. Black.
All of stay.
Oh, here we go.
Stay in there.
Be in the gay lane.
Stay in your own lane. That's what I'm trying to say. Stay in your own lane.
That's a good lesson. Stay in your own lane.
Yeah.
But respect other people's lanes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I want to end on. Could we all just be cool with our own lanes?
Yeah. Cause any problems.
I don't belong in a carpool lane.
Yeah.
You do you in that carpool lane.
Right.
You carpool that shit up. You get a floaty and a flamingo in the carpool lane. All right, well, guys, we're going to wrap this up. Thanks for being on. What's the name of this show? Beck, Bruce, and Kyra today? That's what it's going to be today.
I thought you were going to say on the radio.
BBK.
They're not on the radio. Well, they might.
You're on the interwebs.
Yeah.
I could put this on the radio eventually if someone wants to give me airtime instead of turning it off at night. Give me a call.
Make a good DJ.
Overnight radio. Whoa!
All of us.
This is new.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Anyway,
we're taking off.
And you produce your thing about that.
Yeah.
No, I'm just.
Give us a call. Go to wtbeck.tv.com and you can contact us if you really want to have us do this.
Who's going to remember that?
Whatthebeck.tv?
I get it.
Instead of it's easy.
WT. I get the WT. I was thinking white.
Whitebeck.tv.
Yes.
Really white.
But
I'm not a fan about it. I'm not a fan about it.
You got freckles.
I do. Yeah. I have spots of melanin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, anyway.
Talk to you later, guys.
Adios.
Peace out.
You know how I do.